We're back here, the host of Michael Myers Reacts, and welcome to MMR Live number 20, the 20th episode now. Before we really get into this episode, I do want to say I know that I haven't been super active lately. I feel like I say this every time I do a video or a live stream, so I do want to apologize for that, of course. But tonight's episode is going to be really fun. This is the 20th episode, and I thought I'd do something kind of special and show you guys my most recent pickups. Now, I haven't done any videos on these in a while, and believe it or not, I have 24 titles to show you guys today. Actually, 23 movies and a season of a TV show. Yeah, so I haven't covered these. I haven't been doing a lot here on the channel, and I thought I might as well go ahead and do an MMR Live on these titles because there's no way that I could get a video made of this. It would be way too long. And I do want to say, for those of you who are subscribers of my channel, or if you're new to my channel and you just found me through this video or live stream, definitely hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to be more active here very soon. I have some ideas. I kind of want to make this stream my comeback. It'll probably be a little bit until I do MMR Live number 21, probably in a couple weeks. So I wanted to make this one kind of special. I mean, 20 episodes of MMR Live is pretty amazing to me. I mean, of course, there's other people who have live series that have gone on for over hundreds and whatever. But this one's pretty fun. I just wanted to kind of hang out with you guys and talk about these titles I got recently. Also, I want to make this stream kind of like a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions regarding, Halloween Ends or just horror in general, definitely ask them in the comment section down below or the live chat. Obviously the live chat because we're live. But you can ask me in the comment section down below as well. So whatever you guys want to say or you got any questions, ask them. We got Horrorman93 in the chat. He says, hey man, ready to see all your pickups as of late. I have a lot here. Again, 23 movies and one season of a TV show. Wow, MMR Live episode 20 already. Yeah, I mean, it went kind of quick. I mean, I know I kind of scatter these around. There's weeks where I do 2 in a row, and then there's like months where I don't do one. So we're here. We're at episode 20. I never thought I would say that, but we are here. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into this and show you guys the first title I'm going to talk about. I did start this a little bit early. I know I said I was going live at 8. I started a couple minutes early. It is now after 8, so hopefully people jump in here very soon. But let's go ahead and get into this because this first movie is a John Carpenter movie. Actually, these first 4 I'm going to be talking about are John Carpenter films, if I can speak. And the first one is Assault on Precinct 13 from 1976. Obviously, this is pre-Halloween. And this isn't a horror movie. I know if you're not familiar with John Carpenter, you probably just think, oh, well, he's just a horror director. He actually isn't. This is not his first movie. His first movie was in 74. I believe it's Starman. I think this is his second movie. I could be wrong, but Assault on Precinct 13 is definitely a must-own if you're a Carpenter fan. It's a great gang versus police type movie. Austin Stoker is fantastic in this. He's deputy or sheriff. I don't remember. I haven't seen this in a while, and I've only seen it a few times. But it's a very good action movie. There's no really horror elements in this movie. It's pretty much strictly an action movie. But if you're a Carpenter fan, you will enjoy this because Carpenter was great right out of the gate. Some people think like, well, once he got to Halloween and The Thing, that's when he started becoming this iconic great director. No, Carpenter was great even here before Halloween. This movie is directed like Carpenter. It screams John Carpenter. So if you're a Carpenter fan, you're still going to enjoy this movie. I know this might turn some people off just because it came out before Halloween. Trust me, give it a chance. And I'm almost certain you will enjoy this movie. Assault on Precinct 13 is fantastic. So that's the first title I wanted to show. Also, I want to say these aren't reviews. I'm on here just showing you guys what I've picked up recently. So don't expect like in-depth reviews because you're not going to get that. Awesome. I haven't seen that film in many years. I need to rewatch it. Definitely. It's a great movie. It's a great non-horror John Carpenter film. And we got 80s horror fan in the chat. Good to see you. I know I haven't been active. I haven't been doing streams a lot lately. I'm going to try to be more active here soon. I kind of want to make this my comeback. I don't know how that's going to work. I hope it works out and I have a video out soon and more streams. But I always love seeing 80s horror fan in the chat, man. I love to see you in the chat. That movie is considered iconic, definitely. I think Assault on Precinct 13 is 100% iconic. I love Assault. I have the Steelbook. Ooh, awesome. I don't have the Steelbook, unfortunately, but this is a good addition. Like, if you guys are going to pick it up, I do recommend getting it from Scream Factory. I don't know if there's any other company that put this out on Blu-ray. I want to say this is Scream Factory is the only company who put this out on Blu-ray. So if you want to get that on Blu-ray, I think you have to get the Scream Factory. It's okay, man. We understand. Yeah, I mean, it's not... it's just like one of those things where I want to be more active. You know, of course I want to give you guys content. I want to do live streams. I want to do videos. It's just, I don't know. I get in these moods where it's like I don't have ideas, and then I'm just like, I just don't do anything. I just get lazy and I don't do anything. But I want to change that. I always come back. You guys know me. I mean, I'm not going to be gone forever. Let's see. Have not seen Starman. I think I've seen it, but not very much. I don't even own it, so I need to do that. What would Loomis sound like if he was an assault on Precinct 13? Oh, what would he sound like? That's a good question. He'd probably be like, "Get away from this precinct! I don't want you here!" Starman is amazing. Yeah, I seen it like once, but I need to see it again. I love your collection in the background. Yeah, I got a comment on that on, I think, the last MMR Live. I appreciate that. I always wanted to do this. I wanted to have my collection in the background. So, yeah, I'm glad that you noticed that. Thank you, 80s horror fan. You always come back like Chucky. Yeah, I always come back, of course. All right, so the second what did I say? The second title I want to talk about is another Carpenter film. Again, like these first 4 titles are Carpenter films. This one, you know, I gotta say, obviously Halloween is my favorite horror movie of all time. It's my favorite Carpenter film. My second favorite is The Thing, but this is John Carpenter's scariest movie, in my opinion, and that is In the Mouth of Madness from 95, right? 95. Sam Neill is fantastic in this. I love the idea of Sutter Kane. I love the idea of these horror stories coming to life, and this movie is just absolutely terrifying. Greg Nicotero and who else? Robert Kirkman, I think? I know for sure Greg Nicotero, but they do the effects in this movie. Fantastic. Of course, they're some of the best special effect artists of all time, if I can speak. And they did a great job on this movie. And Carpenter did a great job on this movie. It is very, very good. You know, a lot of people will probably argue that a lot of Carpenter's stuff in the 90s is awful. This isn't. Actually, I don't think any of his stuff is awful at all. But, you know, a lot of people will say, maybe not awful, maybe that's the wrong word, but they would say that his 90s work isn't as great as his 80s work, which, you know, I would agree. But this movie right here is terrifying. Like, this is actually scary. I definitely think this is his scariest movie, especially that scene with the boy who's on that bike and then, like, he turns into the old man or whatever. Like, that was just terrifying. Like, that's creepy to me. But this movie is so good. Like, I definitely recommend In the Mouth of Madness. If this gets a 4K, I might double dip and get it. Not saying that this Blu-ray doesn't look good, but if they put it on 4K, I probably will get it. But this Blu-ray does look really good. So yeah, 2 movies down, and we got a lot to go. Let's just say that. All right, let's see. That movie was a trip. Yeah, that's how I would summarize it. It's definitely a trip. Oh yeah, that's his best from the 90s. Definitely. It's also his scariest in his home film. It's the scariest in his whole filmography, if I can speak. They kill it with special effects every time, definitely. 80s way better than 90s. Didn't do a whole lot in the 90s. I mean, let's not get it mixed up, though. Carpenter's stuff is great no matter what. Like, even in the 90s, it's really good. Of course, it's not Halloween. It's not The Thing. It's not any of the 80s stuff. It's not They Live, you know. But it's still great stuff. He's always been great. So, I mean, I do agree that his stuff in the 90s isn't as good as the 80s. But when I say that, I'm not saying that any of his movies are bad, because I really don't think he has a bad movie. Hey, Horror Collector Fiend, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. I think you're new to the channel. Actually, no, you've commented before on a video. So yeah, welcome to the stream. I think this is the first live stream you've been in, so thank you for showing up. This next one is actually, believe it or not, a underrated Carpenter film, in my opinion, from the same year as In the Mouth of Madness, I believe. Let me check. Yes, 1995. And I also believe this was a made-for-TV film, and that's Village of the Damned, which has Mark Hamill in it. It has, what's that dude's name? Why am I blanking out? Christopher Reeves, who played Superman, of course. I don't know why I was blanking out on that. This movie is like kind of a ripoff of Children of the Corn, but it's very different. It's not exactly the same. You know, creepy kids is kind of the same subgenre in horror, I guess. But this one's really good. I definitely think it's underrated. It's not talked about enough. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely it's a remake. I believe there's another one too. Children of the Damned, I think. I think that came after this one or before. I don't know. Only one I couldn't finish is the TV movie from him in the 70s. Oh, you're talking about Somebody's Watching Me, I think it's called. I haven't even seen that one yet, actually. Mark Hamill and Christopher Reeves are awesome together. I agree. It's crazy how, obviously, when we think of Mark Hamill, we think of Star Wars usually, but like he's been in a good amount of horror movies. You know what I'm saying? So that's like really cool. And Christopher Reeves, I believe, if I'm right, this is the last movie he was in before he had the accident with the horse. You know, obviously he's passed away since now. You know, he's gone. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is a good one. It's underrated in my opinion. I had to get it. I've seen it a few times. I need to watch it again. Let's see. I only seen that one. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so let's go on to the next one because this one's better than what I was just talking about, and that is 1998's Vampires by John Carpenter. Now, I gotta say, you know, this isn't no Lost Boys or anything like that. This isn't Fright Night, but this is like Carpenter cheese. I know I've said before that like I don't consider this Carpenter cheese, and then I do. I still kind of consider it Carpenter cheese. Like I'm not saying that like it's written bad or anything like that. Like this is a really good vampire movie, but for Carpenter, it's kind of cheesy to me. Like it's just these vampire hunters trying to kill the master vampire Valak, I think his name is. I haven't seen this one in a while. It was like earlier this year, but this one is really good. And funny enough, with this release, for some reason, I have a Canadian home video rating sticker on the back. If you guys can see that. It's weird. I don't know why that's on there. But I did order this from eBay, so I don't know. I don't think it's a bootleg, though. That's the one thing I'm always scared about when I order from eBay and get in Scream Factors. Like, you know, is this a bootleg? No, none of these are bootlegs. I definitely can tell which one's a bootleg and which one isn't. But this is Carpenter cheese right here. I don't think anyone should take this one serious. Just have fun with this one, and you're going to enjoy it. And I think that's what Carpenter was going for. He wasn't trying to make like a super serious vampire movie. He wanted you to watch this movie and just have a good time with it. So, and it succeeded with that because that's exactly what it is. That one is fun. It is. James Woods killing vampires. Hey, it's great stuff. It's fun. It's really fun. I freaking love Vampire. I seen it in the theaters. Really? How was that theater experience? I'm sure that was awesome. Sadly enough, I didn't see any Carpenter movies in the theater. A lot of them I wasn't even born when they came out anyways, or I was too young. So that's really cool that you got to see that in theaters. I'm sure that experience was fantastic. You know, it's such a fun movie. But when I say Carpenter cheese, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just one of those things where I felt like he just wanted to make a fun movie, and that's exactly what it was. So yeah, one more Carpenter movie I got to talk about here. It was amazing. I'm glad you had a great theater experience with that movie, because like I would die to go back in time and see a Carpenter movie in the theaters, but unfortunately we can't do that. This next movie is another one that's not talked about very well. I guess it is talked about, but I feel like this one's hated. I'm not sure why. I'll tell you guys my story with it, but that's 2001's Ghosts of Mars. Now this one, I do got to say, when I first watched it, wasn't a huge fan of it. I was like really let down, but when I did watch it, it was on a streaming service that was like terrible quality, had terrible audio, so I didn't have a good first viewing experience with this movie. But since I brought it on Blu-ray and I watched it a few more times, I do like this one a lot more now. I would consider this one more sci-fi horror. It's not just horror. Actually, it's probably more sci-fi than horror. It's not really horror, but it's like horror elemented. And I do got to say that this movie's good, though. Like at first, I didn't like it, and I feel like a lot of people's story is the same way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people liked it right out of the gate. I don't know. It just didn't sit with me. It may be because of my viewing experience. I was just like, nah, Carpenter, you got to flop now. But no, I still think this movie's good, funny enough. Like, Ice Cube in this is you know what I mean? Like, I just... Jason Statham's cool in it, like, but Ice Cube, I don't know. I like Ice Cube, but like, I don't know. It's just weird in that movie to me. I don't know why. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it, and it's Jason Statham's first movie. Yeah, Jason Statham did fine in it. It was Ice Cube. Just I don't know. It was just kind of weird to me. It just didn't feel right. I don't know why. It was weird. But my first viewing experience with that movie just wasn't good at all. Like, it just wasn't. Like, when you watch a movie, like, no matter what director it is, like, if you're a huge fan of a certain director, if you watch that movie and you're having a first bad viewing experience, then you're probably not going to like the movie. And sometimes it takes more than one watch. You know, you got to let a movie sink in before you really decide if it's a good movie or not. It's kind of like that with Halloween Kills as well. I thought Halloween Kills was weak, and I still do. I still don't think it's perfect, but then when I watched it a second time and a third time, Halloween Kills started growing on me. It's the same with Ghosts of Mars. I watched it for the second time, and I was like, it's all right. Do a Jason Statham impression? I cannot do that. I could not do that. That's funny, though. If I could, I would. I'll tell you that. All right, this next one is a 80s classic. It's a slasher movie from the 80s that's a classic. Directed by Tony Malum, which, just by saying his name, you guys should know what this is. And that is The Burning. Also from Scream Factory. Actually, a majority of these are from Scream Factory. This movie is really good. Now, I know that a lot of people will probably consider this a Friday the 13th ripoff because, well, actually it came out the same year as Friday Part 2. So I would say the first movie definitely inspired this one. I'm not going to say that this is better than Friday the 13th Part 2, but it's up there with it. I think they're almost equal. This is a good camp slasher movie, and the effects are done by Tom Savini. I mean, come on, Tom Savini is the best makeup effects artist ever, to me. I mean, some people probably disagree. He's my favorite. And I love this movie. I love how, it's a prank gone wrong. Dude gets burned and he just kills everyone at this camp. I mean, it's simple, it's fun, and the kills are really creative. And it's just a good movie. I have a lot of fun with this one as well. It's not perfect, I think it's one of the best slashers from the 80s probably. It's not perfect though, but I really enjoy it. It's kind of cheesy at times, but it's good, One of the best 80s slasher? Yeah, definitely. I like Friday Part 2 better. I do too. I think Friday the 13th Part 2 is better than The Burning, but they're very close. You know what I mean? I love The Burning because of this movie. Madman changed its script a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I first watched The Burning, it was one of those movies too where I wasn't really into it. I think it was because I was tired and I just wasn't into it. I wasn't feeling it, and then I was like, this is good. What am I talking about? I'm falling asleep here. I need to wake up and watch this movie. And then I watched it a second time. I was more awake, and I guess I enjoyed it a little bit more. But yeah, it is what it is. This next one is another 80s, 1981, the same year as The Burning. It's either Tom Savini or Rick Barker. Also, Stan Winston can be in that conversation. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, of course, but you got to put Greg Nicotero in there as well. Mine's Tom Savini. I love Tom Savini. All of his work is great. Like, even if, you could put his effects in a bad movie and the effects will still be fantastic. Okay, 1981's The Funhouse by Tobe Hooper. Now, this is getting a 4K, I think in June of this year, and I'm probably going to upgrade it because this is probably my second favorite Tobe Hooper film. Like, I really love The Funhouse. It's such a gritty, dark movie. It's probably his second grittiest movie after Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's some things in this that are really weird, and I like that. When a horror movie's weird, it's usually good. This one's very weird. I don't know who did the effects for this one, though. I'm going to be honest. Let me know in the comment section. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But this one's really good. It does need a upgrade, though, because, this Blu-ray's good, don't get me wrong. But the only problem is this is early on when Scream Factory was released. When Scream Factory was in its infant stages. This is 2013. I think Scream Factory came around in 2011 or 2012. It doesn't look bad, but it could definitely look better. So when that 4K comes out, I'm probably going to upgrade it. And it's one of my favorite Tobe Hooper movies. So yeah, I'm probably going to upgrade it for sure. It's a good revenge story. Wait, what? It's a good revenge story to getting revenge for the prank they pulled? Yeah, The Burning is a great revenge horror film. Dude, I love The Funhouse. I honestly remember seeing it as a kid on VHS. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. The Burning... Not The Burning. Why did I say The Burning? Yeah, The Funhouse is definitely my second favorite Tobe Hooper film. I haven't seen everything from Hooper yet. I've seen a lot. I've seen Invaders from Mars, Life Force, of course, Texas Chainsaw, Poltergeist, the Funhouse. I definitely want to get on 4K. I know for a fact that it's going to look better than that Blu-ray. Again, that Blu-ray came out early on in Scream Factory's life. You know what I mean? When Scream Factory was still new. So I know that 4K is going to look really good. So I'm probably going to upgrade it. And I'll probably keep this copy just because it's my first copy of The Funhouse. I actually didn't watch this movie until later on in life. The first time I seen this movie, I think, was probably in 2020 or 2019. Or something like that. I don't remember when it was, but I have not seen this movie a ton. I've probably seen it 3 times, 4 times, but I absolutely love it. I could watch it any time, to be honest. So when it gets a 4K, I'm probably going to get it. Let's see. That's probably his second best film. Yeah, I think it is. I definitely think it is. This next film, here we go. You know what? Wait, that girl in the beginning with her brother attacked jokes. Wait, that girl in the beginning with her brother attacked jokes her in the shower. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's great. Hey, what's up? I know this isn't on the horror subject, but have you heard about the Rick Grimes leaks? Yes, I have actually. Little Walking Dead discussion here. I think most of you know I'm a Walking Dead fan. You guys can actually see my Blu-rays right there. That's all 10 seasons of The Walking Dead. I have heard about the leaks, and I hope they're true. You know, I mean, I'm sure they are, especially since there's like photos of him on set or whatever. I want Rick to come back. I think every Walking Dead fan wants Rick to come back before the show officially ends, because we are on the last season of The Walking Dead. So I hope he comes back. He needs to. The show really needs it. Now, I'm not saying the show's bad because he's gone. Obviously, the show was better when Rick was there on the show. So yeah, him coming back for this last part of the... Because season 11 was put into 3 parts. This is part 3. He needs to come back. It would be huge for The Walking Dead. You know, people would be talking about that. It would really help out the ratings on this last part. I think instead of there being leaks, I think they should just announce he's coming back. And I know that kind of sounds dumb. Like, you know, obviously they probably want to keep it a surprise if he is coming back. I think they should just announce it, because if they just announce it, it'll make fans more excited. They'll be like, holy crap, Rick's coming back. You know, and it would be a big... I think people would watch it again. Even people who haven't seen it since Rick left, maybe, in Season 9, might come back and be like, oh, I'm watching this last part for sure. I think that would help ratings if they actually promote him a little bit, you know, say that he's coming back. I heard that they have a video footage of him. They might. I have not seen that footage. If they do, then that's amazing. I stopped watching TWD after Season 3. I need to catch up. You do. Like, I know people... a lot of people quit watching after the premiere of Season 7 when Glenn died and Negan came in. I'm not sure why, because I actually think Season 7 is great, and Season 8. I think, in my opinion, Season 8 is the last really good season of The Walking Dead. 9 wasn't bad, 10's not bad, and 11's not bad, but Season 8 was such a good season. When they have the all-out war with Negan, you know, the Saviors and Rick and Negan, like, that was fantastic. But it's still good. You know, I know a lot of people quit watching the show, which is unfortunate, because I still think the show is really good. Now, does it feel different without Rick Grimes? Of course. You know, Rick Grimes is the main dude, but the show's still worth watching. It's not like the show got bad after that. It's just a different feel, but it still works for The Walking Dead. You still have Daryl and characters that you love and stuff. Let's see. Imagine a Rick and Daryl spinoff. I mean, I would watch it for sure. Like, I would watch that. I'm definitely going to watch the Maggie and Negan spinoff they got planned. Not sure, you know, what they're going to do with it or how that's going to work out. I'm definitely going to check that out, though. Do you think having a Daryl and Rick spinoff would be better than all the other spinoffs? Oh, yeah. I think if they did anything involving Rick Grimes is going to do better than anything else, because it's Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes is the face of The Walking Dead. Let's be honest. Look at all the promotional posters for the seasons that he was in. He's like right there on the front. Anything with Rick Grimes is going to do really good. So if they did, and Daryl Dixon he's up there with Rick. He's one of the biggest characters in The Walking Dead as well. So if they did a spinoff, that would be like definitely the ultimate spinoff. Kind of crazy that there's these rumors about Melissa not wanting to do the Daryl Carol spinoff, and then there's these Rick leaks. Maybe Carol gets killed and the spinoff will be Daryl and Rick. Maybe. You know, I haven't heard anything about Melissa not wanting to do that Daryl and Carol thing. I'm not saying you're lying or anything, but I haven't heard anything about that. But I think the Rick and Daryl thing would be smart on AMC's part. You know, that's going to help them out a lot with ratings, and AMC Plus, people would want to subscribe to that to watch that show. Because I know, like, AMC Plus, you could watch the episodes like a week early, and I'm sure they'll do the same with these spinoffs. If you have that subscription, you can watch the episodes a week early. So, yeah, I think doing that is a smart move on their part. Will they do it? I don't know. You know, we got to see how this last season ends. We got to see, I'm almost certain Rick's going to come back, but we kind of got to see how season 11 wraps up before we talk about maybe what they would do with these spinoffs. Even though the Maggie and Negan one is confirmed, so, you know, we know that they're not going to die at the end of this season just because they're getting a spinoff. Unless they make the spinoff happen before a certain character dies, I don't know what they're going to do. So, really, I think we just have to wait and see how the series is going to end before we talk about things going forward, you know? Yeah, they're saying Melissa McBride decided to retire or something. Not sure exactly what happened. Really? That's interesting. She's great as Carol. I think Carol as a character, her development to what she became, you know, being this weak character and then becoming such a strong character, you know, she's a really good actress, a really good character. So, I mean, if she wants to retire, though, that's on her, you know, whatever she's happy with. I think Carol. Wait, what? Carol spinoff was scrapped, and then after that, Rick Leaks came out. I think the reason it was scrapped was because Melissa didn't want to film in New York City. Yeah, I have no clue. I don't keep up with Walking Dead stuff all the time. Like, I hear things here and there. There's pages that I follow that let me know, like, what's going on with The Walking Dead and who's coming back and kills and leaks and all that stuff. But, yeah, I don't keep up with everything on The Walking Dead, but I don't know what's going on with it. But I'm excited for it. You know, I'm a Walking Dead fan, so whatever they want to do with the universe, I'm on board for. So, yeah, Rick and Daryl's spinoff would work for me. I'm down with that for sure. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, I got you. They put the names together. Yeah, I got you. All right, so this next one I want to talk about real quick is my favorite horror film from 1990. We can talk about Walking Dead still if you want to. Go ahead and leave it in the chat. I'm definitely down to talk Walking Dead. Actually, that's a stream I should do. I should do like a whole Walking Dead stream because I'm definitely a fan of the show. All right, so my favorite horror film from 1990 here is Nightbreed. Clive Barker film, fantastic film. This is the director's cut, which is cool because I was watching one of the features on this where they were talking about finding these tapes at the storage facility, and it had all the lost footage from this movie. They remastered it, put it together, and we got the director's cut out of it, which is really cool because Nightbreed is definitely my favorite movie from 1990, probably out of anything, or at least horror. Like, this movie's fantastic. I do recommend it. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, so... and he hasn't done a lot of movies, but this one right here I definitely recommend. Nightbreed is fantastic. I don't know if this has the theatrical cut in it as well. It might just have the director's cut, but I do recommend this, especially from Scream Factory. If this gets a 4K, I'm probably going to get it, just because I absolutely love this movie. And it's a long horror movie, too. David Cronenberg is fantastic in this movie as Decker. Like, this movie's so good. So if it gets a 4K, I'm getting it. It'll look absolutely stunning on 4K. So I'm hoping that happens, but we'll see. His second best movie, Hellraiser, I like better. I agree. I think Hellraiser is Clive Barker's best movie, and then it's Nightbreed. But when it comes to the year 1990, out of all the horror films that were released that year, it's definitely Nightbreed. I think having a spinoff with Michonne and Daryl and Rick Jr., and also Judith would be like the Grimes spinoff. They could do that. You know, I'm not sure what they're going to do. I would definitely like to see the Daryl and Rick thing, but at the same time, you know, you can't leave Judith out and you can't leave Michonne because obviously they're all in that circle. But they could always do the Daryl and Rick spinoff, but still have those characters on that spinoff show. So, you know, I'm down with that. Whatever they do, I'm definitely going to keep an open mind about it and check it out. Like, you know, I haven't watched like Fear the Walking Dead or Walking Dead Beyond Worlds, whatever it's called. I haven't watched any of that stuff. I've always strictly watched the original series, but when they're going to do spin-offs with original characters from the original series, I'm definitely going to give it a chance. David Cronenberg as Dr. Decker is one of the best parts of that movie. 1990 for horror was a great year, definitely. You know, I hear a lot of people say, like, obviously the 90s compared to the 80s when it comes to horror, 80s was way better than 90s, but I'm going to say 1990 was definitely a great year for horror. That movie, I mean, we had the Night of the Living Dead remake. There's so many great horror movies in 1990. But Nightbreed's, I love that movie. Ever since I first watched it, I fell in love with it. It's definitely one of my favorite movies ever. Just the world of Midian. I think it's called Midian. Like, it's just so fun. Like, Clive Barker is such a genius. He comes up with some of the coolest things ever. All right, this next one, it's from 1983. Now, I didn't have this movie in my collection for so long, which is unfortunate. You know, I'm hoping that, you know, I could get 2 and 3 at some point. They're really hard to find, and I'm talking about Sleepaway Camp. Now, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 on Blu-ray from Scream Factory is like out of print. Like, it's so hard to get, and obviously you guys know recently they've been re-releasing their films onto 4K, so like this one will get a 4K at some point. But Sleepaway Camp is a classic. This is one of the best from the 80s. It's probably has the biggest twist in horror history, at least in the top 10. It's one of the biggest horror twists ever at the end. Like, no one expected it. Felissa Rose's first role, obviously she's a scream queen. She's fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of the sequels, I'm going to be honest. I really just like this one. But if they do re-release the sequels on Blu-ray, I'm probably going to pull the trigger and get them just because I'll have the complete trilogy. But I'm hoping I can get that. But if not, I'm hoping they do... I'm hoping they re-release them. I really do, because it's kind of unfortunate. A lot of people missed out on those. I watch so many YouTube channels that talk about the Sleepaway Camp sequels and those Blu-rays that are out of print, and they're like, man, you know, you just can't get them. They're so hard to get. Like, just buying Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 slip covers are like over $100 just for the slip covers. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. So I'm hoping that they re-release them at some point. I really want them. Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond are bad. You just couldn't get hooked to the World Beyond. It just isn't as good. I can see that. I mean, they're trying to really just make money off of the Walking Dead name, because The Walking Dead's successful. It's one of the best shows ever to be on television and AMC, so they're just trying to make money off of it. But I heard Fear was okay. I haven't seen Fear, but I'm not really that interested in it. You know, I just love the original series. How about a Eugene Walking Dead spinoff? I hate Eugene. I'm not a fan of his character. I never have been. I'm not saying that the actor is a bad person or he's not a great actor. I just don't like that character. Actually, the guy who plays Eugene was in an episode of Creepshow from Shudder, and he did a fantastic job on that. I really liked him in that. But just, I don't know, the character of Eugene I just find annoying. I just don't like him. He's awful. But that's just me, you know. If you're a fan of Eugene, then awesome. I can't stand him. I'm sorry. Dude, I got all 3 from Scream Factory. I got lucky. Wow, that's amazing. 80s horror fan, does yours have slipcovers on them, or do you just have like the standard releases? Wow, your collection is awesome. How many movies do you have? Who said that? Oh, Headhunter. That's a good question. I mean, behind me, it may not look like it because there's like collections behind me that have like over 10 movies in it. But behind me, I'm almost certain that there's definitely over 200 movies behind me right now. Probably for sure over 200 movies. I don't know exactly. Believe it or not, there's more movies below. Like, there's movies up here, and I got shelves on the bottom that have even more movies. So, yeah, I have a lot of movies. One day I'll have to count them, and I'll do like some sort of post or something and let you guys know. Let's see. Wait, where am I? It's going quick. Do you have Maximum Overdrive? I don't. It's one I need to get in my collection. That's actually the only movie that Stephen King actually directed, if I'm correct. Great movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I need to get it in the collection. I just never did it. You know, it's always like a $30 Blu-ray, and sometimes I'm like, do I really want to spend $30 on Maximum Overdrive? Like, yeah, I do. But it's like, do I want to do it right now? And then when I do decide, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get Maximum Overdrive, I just don't do it. So, let's see. Maximum Overdrive, the only movie Stephen King directed. I was right. Yeah, and the sequels are just kill fests, a lot of body count. Yeah, that's exactly what the Sleepaway Camp franchise is. But Pamela Springsteen as Angela did great. Yeah, she's not bad. I'm just not a huge fan of those sequels. Like, you know, the first Sleepaway Camp has such a charm about it. It's such a good movie that those sequels just didn't. You know what I mean? They're just, you're there for the kill count. You're there for the kills, and I don't know. I just think they kind of fall flat, to be honest. But I enjoy them. Like, it's not like I wouldn't own them in the collection. They're just not my favorite. I didn't realize Stephen King directed that. He did. It's funny because, like, you know, there's so many Stephen King adaptations, obviously based off his books, that some people get confused. I've heard people say that they think, like, Stephen King directed Cujo or something. He didn't. You know, they're based off his books. But, yeah, he did direct Maximum Overdrive, and I believe he was doing, like, cocaine at the time. Like, he was on drugs. So, yeah, I don't know if that helped him or not, whatever. You know, it's not good, obviously, but that's just what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but, yeah, he did direct that movie, and he could have been on cocaine. That's awful to say, but, yeah. People think that TWD is going to end with Rick waking up from a coma, and it starts with him. Yeah, I heard that before, too. When Season 9 was coming out, and they had that, the thing with Rick waking up when he looks older or whatever with his hair shaved, they were like, because, you know, we get that time skip in Season 9. They were like, you know, is this all just a dream? Like, what is this? And I'm like, I doubt it. You know, that's just, I don't think they're going to do that. But I don't know. So, pretty much what I'm trying to say here is don't do cocaine. It's not good. Don't do cocaine. Of course, slips. I love steelbooks and slips. I do too. I'm not a huge steelbook collector. Funny enough, I do have a steelbook to show you guys later on in the stream. I love slips too if I can get them. If I can't, I don't really care. I'm not like one of those people where they have to have the slip. Like, there's so many people who will buy like a release of a movie, and if it doesn't have the slip, they'll pay the extra money to get the slip. I'm not that type of collector. I just like having the movies. You know, if I love that movie, I just want it on physical media. I want it in my collection. If it has the slip, awesome. I'm all for it. If I can get a steelbook of it, awesome. I'm all for it. But I'm just not one of those people. I'm not really greedy with what I get. You know, if I can have the movie, I'm happy with that. But I do agree that slipcovers are better. Like, I'd rather have most of my movies with slipcovers, but if it doesn't work out that way, it doesn't work out that way. Stephen King directed it coked out. Yes, it's awful. Yeah, he pretty much directed it high on cocaine. It's not a great film, but it's fun, and AC/DC did the soundtrack. I don't think it's a bad film. I think Maximum Overdrive is fine. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's fine. I think he did an okay job with it. I wish Stephen King would have directed more movies, though. I would like to see his style more, you know what I mean? We only got one movie with that, which is sad. Do you have Misery? I don't. Not right now, I don't. I know it got a 4K last year, I think, from Kino Lorber, if I can speak, which I got the Silence of the Lambs one. They also did Misery. The same day that this one came out, the Misery one came out, and I didn't pick it up. Probably should have, because this looks fantastic on 4K. Obviously, the Silence of the Lambs is one of the best ever. I mean, it won awards and all that good stuff, and Anthony Hopkins is... Hannibal Lecter and Jodie... Like, this movie's just great. And Misery is one I should have got when it came out, but I missed out on it. It was weird because my Best Buy had the Silence of the Lambs 4K, but they didn't have the Misery one. I was planning on picking up both that day, and that didn't happen, so that's unfortunate. Good life tips, yeah, just don't do that. It's not a good idea. Have you seen A Quiet Place or The Silence? They're good movies. I have seen A Quiet Place. I have A Quiet Place 1 and 2 in my collection on 4K up there. I like them. I'm ready. I know they're doing a part 3. I don't think John is directing that. I think they're doing a spin-off too. Like, the Quiet Place franchise is not anywhere near its end. But I do like that. I haven't seen Silence. I'm not sure what Silence is, unless you mean Silence of the Lambs. I don't know. Silence of the Lambs is great. I'm pretty sure you're not talking about that. I don't know. Let's see. There is a movie similar to Maximum Overdrive called Trucks from 1997. It's based off a short story from King. I have not seen Trucks. I know there's a movie called The Car, which is sort of like Christine. But I don't think The Car has anything to do with Stephen King. But, I didn't realize they were making a part 3. Yeah, they're supposed to be making A Quiet Place part 3. I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe a year or two from now. I'm not sure. All right, so let's get into this next movie. This one is from 1977. This one's really good. Now, this is one that's actually based off a true story. You know, I don't know everything about it when it comes to the true story. I looked up a few things on it, and that is The Town That Dreaded Sundown from 1977. This movie's really good. Now, it's fun to look up on the Phantom Killer and to see, like, what really happened with the real story. But if you watch this movie as just a movie, it's good. It's really good. I think this is one of the best from the 70s. This was 77. Yeah, 77. This is one of the best horror movies from the 70s. And if you haven't seen this, I do recommend it. I don't know too much about the... I looked up a few things on the true story. I don't remember how many people the guy actually killed. But, like, to this very day, they never caught the Phantom Killer, like, in real life. And they kind of show that in the movie. I don't know how accurate this is to the real-life story. But I do recommend this movie. And I do feel like that this inspired Friday the 13th Part 2. Obviously, when Jason wears the potato sack over his head. I would say is definitely inspired by this movie and the Phantom Killer himself. I believe he really did wear a potato sack over his head when he did the killings. I don't have the 2014 sequel. I want to say that's a sequel. It's kind of like a reboot, though, but it's kind of a sequel as well. It's somebody who is a copycat of the Phantom Killer, which that one's really good, too. And Blumhouse actually did that 2014 film, which I do need to get. I'm sure most of you have seen this who watch my channel, maybe not. But if you haven't, I do recommend it. It's really good. It's actually kind of creepy at times. It's funny as well with the cop who... they have a cop as a decoy who's dressed up as a woman because the Phantom Killer pretty much kills women mostly. And it's kind of a funny little decoy thing they got going on there. Yeah, it doesn't... Wait, what? Yeah, it doesn't have nothing to do... No, I know it doesn't have nothing to do with Christine. I just thought... I know the car doesn't have anything to do with Stephen King. I know it has nothing to do with Christine, but they're very similar, though. Like, it's like the whole car thing. It's more gory and brutal than A Quiet Place. Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't seen Silence. I'll have to check that out. It's 76. Well, then this says 77, so I'm not sure. Yeah, according to this, 1977. Maybe this is wrong, but yeah, I don't know. It says, oh yeah, this also came with another movie called The Evictors. I haven't seen that. It's from the same director who did The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and that came out in 1979. I haven't seen that, but that is in here. Let me go ahead and open this up. I don't think, yeah. Yeah, the DVD is what has that. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's, well, what am I doing? It's got both movies in there. I have to check that out because I really like Town That Dreaded Sundown. The Evictors, I don't know. I haven't seen that, so I'll have to check that out. Let's see. Horror movies based on true stories, never good when that happens. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, you don't want people to die or anything. But yeah, it's based off a true story. And look up The Phantom Killer. If you guys want to know more about it, just look up The Phantom Killer on Google. I'm sure there's images and stuff like that. You can check that out. It's from 2019. I'll have to check that out. I have not seen that one. That's one of my favorite from the 70s. Mine too. I think The Town That Dreaded Sundown is really good. Let's see. Google says 76. Yeah, I have no clue. I think, I don't know. This must be a misprint then because this says 77. 76 or 77. One of the two this movie came out, so... let's see... Makes it scarier though? Yeah, I mean, usually when a story is true, yes, it does make it a lot scarier because... You can kind of put yourself in their shoes because, obviously anyone can become a victim of a home invasion or, anything can happen in real life. And that's definitely what makes it scary because when you watch movies, horror movies that are based off true stories, you kind of get into that mindset like, what if this was me? You know what I mean? And that's even more scary. It's like, what if this was me? If you watch a home invasion movie like The Strangers, which is also based on a true story, somewhat, I think loosely based off a true story, and then you kind of think, well, wait a minute. What if someone was like trying to break into my house? What if this was me? And that's when you start to get scared, is when you put yourself in the character's shoes and you think about what really happened. I think that's when you really start to get scared. Like, I don't get scared from horror movies anymore. I've seen so many horror movies. Jump scares really don't get me. Sometimes if they're really good. And I get creeped out still. I mean, there's a lot of good horror movies that'll creep you out. It won't scare you really, but it'll make you feel uneasy. And those are my favorite horror movies. But the whole idea of putting yourself in their shoes is the scary part. It's like, this could happen to me. That's what's terrifying. What do you think about Slumber Party Massacre? I love Slumber Party Massacre. I have it on Steelbook, actually. Let me see if I can get that out. Let me move this here. This is what happens when you got so many movies. Right here. Slumber Party Massacre Steelbook. I love Russ Thorn. This movie's really... I haven't seen this one a lot. And this is another good example, kind of. I don't think this is based off a true story. Pretty sure it's not. But you could kind of put yourself... Well, not really if you're a dude. I mean, you can. But yeah, these ladies are getting stalked by Russ Thorn. And they're having a slumber party. And things just go wrong. So, like, if you really put yourself in their shoes, that's what's scary. I mean, a lot of these movies you can watch... If you just watch it as a movie, you may not get scared. But you really got to put yourself in their shoes. And that's what really starts to scare you. In my opinion. That's what I always think about. When I'm watching a movie, I always think, like, how realistic is this? Blah, blah, blah. Put myself in their shoes. All that stuff. Is there any horror movies based on Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy? I'm sure there is. Of course there's documentaries on those killers. I'm not sure. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a movie that's loosely based off those real-life serial killers. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. When a Stranger Calls also is a creepy 70s movie. That one is creepy. Did you check the children? I love that. That's great. I haven't seen that in a long time. But I heard you and Russ Thorn have the same jean jacket. Shh, man. Why are you telling people that, man? What? You can't tell people that. Come on. 80s horror fan. I trusted you, man. People can't know that. Off the subject, but do you have big plans for when you hit 1K subs? Actually, I do. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet. It'll probably be some sort of live stream. Probably a very long live stream. I'm probably going to get guests on and just kind of have a really big horror hangout. Something like that. Kind of like this. Obviously, this is just me. We're on here talking about whatever. I'm showing you guys my recent pickups, talking about Walking Dead, whatever. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to have a lot of people on. I want to do a big live stream for 1K, and I want to make it really fun. Maybe even have some interactions with you guys if you guys want to join the streams. Like, anybody who watches my channel, whatever. I still have to kind of figure that out. It's going to be a little bit... Because who knows when I'm going to actually hit that. I'm hoping it's this year. It should be, because I'm going to try to start being more active again. I know I've been slacking a lot lately, but when I hit 1K, I want to do something really big for it, of course. But that's a really good question. Thanks for asking that, Headhunter. I think Slumber Party 3 is underrated. I haven't even seen the Slumber Party sequels. I have not seen 2 or 3. Because I love the first one so I'm not saying I wouldn't watch those. I probably will at some point, but I just love that first one so much. I know they had, what is it, like a remake that came out on Sci-Fi last year or something like that. Haven't seen that one either. I heard it's garbage, and I believe it. But the first one's really good. I'll probably check out the Slumber Party sequels at some point. I just haven't felt the need to do so, you know? I don't know. What is this? The Study Channel remake of Slumber Party Massacre was not good. You mean the Sci-Fi? Yes, of course, yes. I heard it was not good. The Sci-Fi remake of Slumber Party Massacre I heard was really bad. Do a 24-hour stream? Yeah, I doubt it'll be 24 hours. At most, maybe like a 4 or 5 hour stream. 24 hours, no. It'll probably be in the evening time too. Kind of like now, but it would go on longer. But I want to do at least a 4 or 5 hour stream. 1K subs should be the TWD stream and horror. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a complete stream on The Walking Dead if you guys want to see that. You know, obviously, if you watch my channel, let me know in the comment section down below or in the live chat if you guys do want me to do a complete episode on The Walking Dead. I would definitely do that. I'll probably have to refresh my memory on a few seasons, but I know the show pretty well. So yeah, maybe I'll do that at some point. I also promised you guys that Candyman stream. I need to do that at some point where I talk about all the Candyman films or the first 3, whatever I said. I do need to do that at some point. I know I say things and I don't do it. You guys know how it is. I'm awful at that sometimes. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try to actually change and do better on this channel. When you reach 1K, do like a stream as Loomis the entire time. Yeah, I'll get the overcoat and I'll shave my head bald. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of funny, but my throat would be killing me afterwards because I can't talk like that the whole time. I can't. Dude, watch the sequels. I need to. I probably will. I don't know. I just I just haven't felt the need to do it. Let's see. 2 is better than 3 in my opinion. Nice. I'll have to check those out. Yes, that'd be cool. Yeah, I would definitely love to do a 4 to 5 hour stream when I hit 1K. I want to do something big because 1K... You know, that's been my ultimate goal since I started. You know, I didn't even think I'd be at this point, to be honest with you guys. I always thought, like, when I hit 100, I was, like, blown away. I was like, wow, I got 100 subscribers. And then I got to 500, and I was like, wow. And now here I am at, you know, going on 900. Wow. You know what I mean? I'm happy with what I have. You know what I mean? I'm not grateful for you guys. I'm really happy that I have what I have. And when I hit 1K, it's going to be really crazy. I'm going to be really happy, so... to change the subject, I'm still bummed that the Cubs traded away their best player last July. Well, you know, I'm not too familiar with baseball. I don't mind baseball. I'm not too familiar with the players, but yeah, I'm sorry that you're bummed about that. Let's see. Oh, God. Candyman 3. You know what? I'm not going to get on that Candyman 3 rant. I'm not going to do it because if I did... No, I'm not going to talk about Candyman 3. That can wait until I do the Candyman stream whenever I do it. I'm watching Slumber Party now. Awesome. I'm probably going to watch a movie after this, just not sure what. Dress up as Rick Grimes for your 1K stream. Jeez, I'm getting so many requests. We got the Loomis stream. Now they want me to dress up as Rick Grimes. What's going on here? Yes to the TWD live. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do it. I really do. I would like to do it. If you guys want to see that, I'll do it. Because I do like the show. You know, maybe I'll break down the seasons or something. You know, we'll talk about characters. Maybe I'll rank the characters or something. Talk about kills or something. We'll figure that out when the time comes. It'll probably be this year if I do it. That Halloween Kills vid you did, how many total views did it get? The Halloween Kills one I did in December. Here, let me check for you real quick. I did a Halloween Ends video this year that has over 3,000 views. I think it's got 3.4K now, which I did in, what was it, February, March? Yeah, the one called Halloween Ends Update 2022, what we know so far, has 3.4K. The other one, oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the big video I did. But the one from December has 2K views, and the one that you're talking about, let me scroll to it. It still has 20,000 views, which still blows my mind. That video really took me by surprise. I was not expecting that to blow up. I was like, 20,000 views. I was like, geez. It was getting like 100 views every like 10 minutes. Like, it was crazy. It really blew up, which, I mean, that was a big time for Halloween Kills, though. It was almost to the release. We got a new photo. I think it was a photo or a little teaser from the flashback, and I was talking about how, you know, the flashback Michael, a.k.a. Aaron Armstrong, looks almost exactly like he did in 78. And that video just blew up, and I was surprised, and I'm glad that it did. It was really cool. 20K, congratulations. Thank you. I mean, I'll probably never see that again unless my channel gets like really big at some point, which it probably won't get huge. But I'm happy with what I have. You know, you really, like, if you're someone who's going to do YouTube or you do YouTube, always be grateful for what you have. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel like that you're not as good as other YouTubers because they have more subs than you. If a video doesn't do good on views, like, just don't feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Be grateful for, like, you guys are awesome. Like, we have fun talking. I don't even care if we just had 3 people in here talking. It would still be incredible. Having anyone interact with me talking about horror and just having a good time on here is what I live for. This is why I did this channel. You know what I mean? I'm not on here to, you know, complain about not having 1K or 2K. Like, this is awesome. Having people in the chat is really, like, if you guys were not chatting, there would be no live stream. I would have nothing to say, nobody to talk to. It would be me just holding up Blu-rays and stuff. Like, so I'm glad that I have people on here. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really do. TWD stream sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, I'll do it. It seems like people want it, so I'll definitely do it. You need to do another short film too. I'm glad you mentioned that. I've been writing a few things. The only problem is when I have things written, like I have ideas I want to do for short films. The only problem is getting people to do it and figuring out how I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I need certain things to do stuff. I need people. I need maybe even a place to do it, like a different location. That's really my only problems. Like, I would definitely have more short films if I had things that I needed. So it's hard to do that. You know what I mean? It's really hard to do short films. It's super hard. Like, I respect anyone who makes a short film or a fan film that's like an hour or more, and even features. Like, making films are not easy. Like, the phone call is not long. It's like 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes, close to it. 4 minutes took me a week to make. A week, because I had to reshoot things. I had to do all kinds of stuff. It's not easy. 20K, that's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's crazy. Like, I just did not expect that. It's a video I definitely cherish. It's probably one of my favorite videos on my channel. I think that's amazing. The comment section was huge too. There's like over 100 comments or something like that. Over 150 or something. You should do Fortnite streams. I mean, I would if this was a gaming channel, but I don't really game on here. I mean, horror games I'll do. I did play Friday the 13th on here and Dead by Daylight, but gaming's just, I don't know. It's just not something I like gaming, but I wouldn't call myself a gamer like I used to be. I just do it here and there. You do an excellent job. You also treat people with respect. Well, I try to do that because, you know, I wouldn't want to come on here and make people not feel comfortable. I want people to feel comfortable that they can come on here and chat and talk about anything they want. As long as it's, well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be horror related. I mean, of course I would want it to be horror related. Like Walking Dead is horror related to me. It's zombies. You know, it's a subgenre of horror. So anything that's horror related, I'm down to talk about. So, you know, I want to be good to the people who are on my channel. Because if I wasn't, why would you guys even want to watch it? Why would you even want to chat with me? So, yeah, that's what it's all about, really. Where is Machete Slasher? I have no clue. I talked to him about a week ago, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. I asked him, I was like, man, when are you going to upload again? And I just don't know. I'm sure he'll upload soon. Maybe I'll get him on a stream soon. I need to get him on an MMR live again soon. When he was reading the Halloween Returns script, had me cracking up. We were talking about bouncy houses, and you had to be at that stream to understand what I'm talking about. A lot of people are probably like, what are you talking about? It's on MMR Live 13. It's just a really weird stream. Let's see. He's fighting the hazmat killer at the moment, probably. I don't know what he's doing. All right, let's get into this. Here, honestly, is my third favorite werewolf movie of all time. My first two is An American Werewolf in London and The Howling. Those movies are fantastic. To me, this is the last really good werewolf movie. Now, I'm not hating on Wes Craven's Cursed. I know a lot of people are probably going to ask me about that. I do think it's a good movie, but it's not as good as this movie, and that is Bad Moon from 1996, my bad. This movie is really good. This is underrated. This is definitely a werewolf movie that I feel like has gotten recognized a little bit more over the years, but is still underrated. Now, this isn't as good as The Howling or An American Werewolf in London, but this one is like really, really awesome. I've only seen it a few times. I just got it recently on physical media. I watched it on streaming, and then I was like, I gotta own it. But this one is so good. Like, the transformation's great in this. The werewolf looks great in this. It's just really good. Bad Moon is awesome. Michael P. was good in it. Definitely, I mean, everybody was fantastic in this movie. Eric Red, who directed it, did a great job. It's a really great directed movie. It's one that I feel like definitely needs to have more love than what it has. It's still kind of underrated, but it has gotten recognized a little bit more over the years. But yeah, I'm so glad I'm showing you guys these titles because I've had so many, and it was like I haven't been doing anything on the channel. So getting on here just showing you guys these titles is really fun, and there's still a lot to go. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Also, The Wolfman with Anthony Hopkins was awesome. Yes, I still don't own that either. It's funny because, like, here's the beauty behind collecting horror movies. Like, obviously, you can have your favorite genre. You know, maybe you like supernatural, maybe you like slashers, which slashers are my favorite. But no matter what, if you're a lover of the genre, if you love the entire genre of horror, collecting is almost unlimited. There's no limits. I mean, you can be collecting for years upon years upon years. I mean, there's so many horror movies that it's not even funny. Like, there's so many horror movies that I've seen and I've loved, and I still don't own all the ones that I want. Like, I still have a whole bunch of movies I would love to own in my collection. I'm grateful for what I have, of course, but, like, getting every movie that you love, or even discovering new horror movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch a new movie on streaming, and this is kind of how I feel about streaming, like, I'm not a huge fan of streaming. I'm all about physical media because, obviously, if your favorite movie's on Netflix or whatever, at some point they're going to take it off there and you're not going to be able to watch it. But if you own it, like Bad Moon, you can just pop this in your player and watch it anytime, which is why I love physical media. But streaming isn't all that bad because that's also a good place to discover new movies. There are new horror movies that I discover every day on streaming. And I decide, like, you know, I really like this movie. I want it in my collection. So there's perks to streaming, but I'm always a physical media guy. But streaming isn't all that bad. I see people make so many videos, like physical media collectors, who are like, streaming is awful. No, streaming's not awful. I'm just saying, if you love a certain movie, whatever, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get it. Support that movie any way that you can. So, yeah, streaming's not all that bad. Don't let people tell you streaming's bad. Now, if you only stream, your favorite show or movie's not going to be on there all the time. So, you might want to pick it up. But, let's see. Bad Moon, let me go back down. Bad Moon is the best from the 90s. Not a whole lot of werewolf movies except for some of the Howling sequels. I'm not sure. American Werewolf in Paris was too much CGI. I loved American Werewolf in Paris. It was fun. I don't even think I've seen that. I'm such a big fan of London. Do you have classic monster DVDs? I do have the Universal. Hold on. Yeah, I have this Universal Classic Monster box set here. This is the essentials. It's got, like, you know, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera. This is your essentials. I mean, if you're wanting to get into these movies, this is the set to start with. They have a big set that I thought about getting, but at the same time, I don't watch these as much as I probably should. Now, I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's my favorite Universal Classic Monster movie. But I don't watch these as much as I should. But they have this big Universal Classic Monster set that has like 130 movies in it or something. It's a huge box set that I thought about getting, but at the same time, I was like, you know, I barely even watch the essentials. Even though I love these movies, these are timeless, they're fantastic, ones that I need to watch more. But if I get that set, I was like, I don't know how much I would watch it. Would I love to own it? Yeah, sure. But, you know, I don't know. I do own them, though. I have the essentials, and this is really all you need, in my opinion. I haven't seen all of them, either. I haven't seen all 130 Universal Monster movies, however many there is. Let's see. So many good ones, so many bad ones, too, but you can't have just only the good without the bad. Very true. Very, very true. Speaking of Hopkins, I think I may have asked this before, but can't remember. Have you seen Hannibal Rising, and do you think it compares to Silence of the Lambs and Red Dragon? I actually haven't seen Hannibal Rising. Is Hannibal Rising's the one from, isn't it 2011 or something like that? I don't remember. It's definitely not as good as Silence of the Lambs. Even Red Dragon doesn't compare to Silence of the Lambs. Like, I like Hannibal, I like Red Dragon, I like Silence of the Lambs. I don't even think I've seen Rising, to be honest. Does Rising have Hopkins in it? I Can't remember. It might, but Silence of the Lambs, none of those compare to Silence of the Lambs. Like, Hannibal's pretty close. I think Hannibal's good. Ridley Scott directed Hannibal, and that one's really great. But Hannibal Rising, nah, I don't think that or Red Dragon would compare to Silence of the Lambs. I have seen Red Dragon, though, and it definitely doesn't compare to Silence of the Lambs. Let's see. Physical Media for Life, definitely. Wasn't a fan of it. Watched it once. Are you talking about Paris? I don't know. Yeah, my grandpa does love these Universal Classic Monster movies, which I'm glad because these are fantastic movies. And these are good for upcoming horror fans. Like, if you're looking to get into horror, this is a good place to start. These are clean movies. They're the classics. They're the essentials. This is what really kicked off horror. Like, without these, there wouldn't be Halloween. There wouldn't be Friday the 13th. This really turned horror to what it is today. So I appreciate these movies a lot. Like, these are good starting points. I know a lot of, like, younger horror fans who kids who are looking into getting into horror, or younger horror fans may not like these as much. They might find these boring, which is kind of understandable. I know that, you guys know how kids are. But start here. I mean, give these ones a shot. At least try Frankenstein or Creature from the Black Lagoon. Those two are probably my favorite. But all these are really good. So, yeah, I definitely say start here. But, yeah, my grandpa does love these movies. And he got me more interested in them, too, actually. My grandpa would talk about them and talk about actors. And I had this set, and I've seen a few of the movies before that. But that really made me want to watch them more. And I'm kind of glad that he talks about those, because it got me wanting to watch those. Mine is either between Dracula and Frankenstein. They're both great. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those, to be honest. What was your favorite Universal Monster movie? I have all of them on Steelbook. Art done by Jason Lee. I think I know what Steelbooks you're talking about. Are you talking about the Steelbooks that came out? They were like Best Buy exclusives, I think. They're really nice Steelbooks. My favorite's Creature from the Black Lagoon. 100%. I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. I know that was kind of like at the end of this era. I think Creature was like 54, wasn't it? Something like that. A lot of these were in the 30s and 20s. I think Phantom of the Opera was like 25, but Creature from the Black Lagoon is my favorite. I love that movie. Let's see. I don't think Rising has Anthony. It doesn't have Hopkins, but mentioned him made me think. Oh, yeah, mentioning him, yeah. I figured he wasn't in it. Actually, the actor who played Hannibal in Hannibal Rising, I think passed away last year or this year, something like that. He passed away recently, which is really sad. Let's see. Anthony Hopkins in Dracula 1992 is fantastic, for sure. He plays Stan Helsing, right? I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula from 92 is fantastic. Francis Ford Coppola, I think that's how you say his last name. Great director. I mean, a lot of people love him because of The Godfather and stuff. My favorite movie by him is Dracula, hands down. I love Dracula. I saw that movie for the first time this year. I was really late to seeing that movie, and I wanted to punch myself because of it. It's like, why did I never watch this? The movie is so good. Now, and I got it on 4K, and it looks so good. I was just late to the party. I've only seen parts of Frankenstein, I believe, a long time ago, though. Yeah, I recommend watching it. Those are good starting points. If you're going to get into horror, I would say start there. I mean, most people do. I would say they do. So start there. I mean, if you're going to get into horror, watch the classic monster movies. They're definitely clean movies, especially the essential ones. I mean, you don't have to watch all 130 movies. I think there's like 8 movies in this set. So, start with like these 8 and you'll be fine. That's a good starting point. Let's see. Was it the worst horror movie ever made? Was what the worst horror movie ever made? I'm not sure. What horror movie are you talking about? And I'll let you know. Was it? Or are you saying what is the worst horror movie ever made? That's a good question. There's so many bad horror movies that I don't know. I really don't know. I lean toward like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I hate that movie. But that's not the only bad horror movie. And I'm not hating on Rob Zombie. I am a Rob Zombie fan. But Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is garbage. There's a lot of bad horror movies out there, but there's also a lot of good. As Horror Man said earlier in the stream, you can't have the good without the bad and the bad without the good, whatever. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of bad horror movies. But, bringing that down to one movie, I don't think you really can. There's so many bad ones, but there's also so many good ones. That's a good question. It is a good question because I don't think anyone could really answer that. I mean, everyone has their opinions, and in my opinion, the worst horror movie probably in my collection is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or Jason X, maybe. I would say Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is even worse than Jason X. So I'm going to go with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, in my opinion. Now, that's not necessarily the right answer. It comes down to your opinion, I guess, because, you know, you can't really narrow it down. There's so many bad ones. This next one is a 2-pack. This is from 1984 and 1992, I think. It's funny, there's a misprint on this. Huh. But that is Children of the Corn and Sleepwalkers. Children of the Corn was from 84, I'm pretty sure. For some reason, it has it as 96. I think I got a misprint here, which is kind of funny. And then Sleepwalkers is 92, I think, or 91. I've seen Children of the Corn a long time ago. Me and Slasher Movies 410 did a talking horror podcast over Children of the Corn. That's a really good episode. I think it's special episode 3. You guys can find that in that talking horror playlist I have here on the channel. But Sleepwalkers, I watched for the first time this year, and I like it. I think it's really good. Now, I can't really talk about it enough because I've only seen it once. Like, I don't know really what to say about it because I've seen it one time. I just know that it's a good movie. It was a good watch. Something I'll go back and watch again. I guess it says cameos by Clive Barker and Stephen King. I do remember seeing Stephen King in this, but for some reason I don't remember seeing Clive Barker in Sleepwalkers, but apparently he's in there. This is a good double pack. I've seen a lot of people talk crap about these horror classic double packs, saying that they don't look good, especially like Hellraiser 1 and 2, saying that they look awful. That's not even true. Like, I think these Blu-rays look really good, and they're cheap. Like, this was like under $20 for 2 movies. That's not a bad deal. So yeah, let's get into some of these more. I still have a lot to go, and we're already over an hour, so I have a lot to talk about here. This next one is a movie that has Barbara Crampton in it from 2015, according to the back of this. And that is We Are Still Here. Now, this is a pretty creepy movie, I'm going to be honest. If you're into haunted house films, watch this movie. This one's weird. Now, I can't really talk about this one either because I've only seen it one time. I just know Barbara Crampton's in it, and it's a haunted house movie. But it's really crazy. It's really creepy. It's shot really well. The cinematography in this movie is fantastic. This is definitely one I need to visit again soon. I've seen this for the first time this year as well, and it's one that I already want to watch. I might have to watch this in a few days because this one's really good. But yeah, We Are Still Here. If you guys have seen that, let me know in the comment section down below or in the live chat. Again, I can't say a lot about it because I haven't seen that movie but only one time, and this next one I haven't seen very much either because these are recent pickups. You know, some of these movies I haven't even seen yet. But that was actually a blind buy. I brought We Are Still Here at a disc replay, which is like a pawn shop by me. I didn't know anything about it. I watched it, and I was really impressed with it. The Boogeyman from 1980, I think that, for me, was the worst I've seen. I have not seen that movie. Halloween Resurrection, I wouldn't say that's the worst horror movie ever made. It's not good. It's a terrible Halloween movie, but it's not worse than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So when it comes down to my collection, the worst movie that I own is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. That's the one I would go to. That one's really bad. Not horror related, but are you hyped for Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness? Not really, to be honest. I like Marvel, don't get me wrong. Like, I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, and I've seen some of the other Marvel movies. I'm not a huge Marvel guy. I used to be. I used to love superheroes and stuff like that, but I just kind of fell off from that stuff. Like, I like the Avengers. I've seen Endgame and Infinity War and all that stuff, but I know Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange 2, and it's supposed to be kind of horror elemented. I've heard, at least. I don't know if that's true. I'm pretty sure it is. I seen like a poster of it, and it was like Evil Dead themed or whatever. That's really cool to me, but I probably won't check it out. I'm going to be honest. I probably won't. Maybe. It just depends. I really don't know. But yeah, I'm not a huge Marvel guy. I don't think Marvel's bad or anything. I'm just not a huge superhero guy anymore. Okay, this next movie is from 2014, and I gotta say, this one I really, really like, but I don't remember a lot from it. Did I say that right? I don't know. I don't really remember a lot from this movie. This is an elevated horror movie, and that's the Babadook. This is also Scream Factory, and funny enough, I didn't even know that. I picked this Blu-ray up, and I was like, wait, this is Scream Factory? This one's good, but it's not one I'll probably watch a whole lot. I mean, I do want to watch it again, but it's good. I think this is definitely one of the best horror movies from 2014. But it's not one that I'm probably going to watch a ton. I know this one's talked about a lot. This is like a modern-day horror classic, and I would agree, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's at that status for me, but it's good. Maybe at some point it'll become a horror classic, but I think it's a good movie, but it's not one, to me, that you have to watch. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I necessarily recommend it. This next one I do recommend, though, and that is from 2013. This is a home invasion movie called You're Next. Now, this is a home invasion movie with a twist, like a really awesome twist, too. This movie's fun. This movie will have you on edge the entire time. If I remember correctly, there's a scene where one of the family members from this home, obviously, is being invaded by these people. There's a scene where I think a lady, is it Barbara Crampton? She's in this movie as well, Barbara Crampton. And the lady goes to her room, and one of the people who broke into her house is under the bed. And that scene's super, super intense. I love that scene. But this movie, this is an intense horror movie. It really is. It had me on edge the entire time. Now, it's not scary or anything, but it just has you on edge. Like, you're really kind of like, what's going to happen next? Because you really don't know. It's such a good movie. The kid screams so much. Yeah, the Babadook, the kid... what is it called? Evelated horror, whatever it's called. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. Have you seen Night of the Living Dead? I have. I love George A. Romero. That's another good starting point for someone who's going to watch a horror movie. I say watch Night of the Living Dead. It's a black and white zombie. It's the first zombie film. Night of the Living Dead, without Night of the Living Dead, we wouldn't have The Walking Dead. We wouldn't have anything zombies, really. He really is the godfather of zombies. So, like, if you're a fan of that stuff, you're going to love George A. Romero. But yeah, I have seen Night of the Living Dead, and I definitely recommend it. Love that movie, You're Next. Yep, really good. Really good. Yeah, that scene is really good. I love that scene. This next one is a movie from 2022 that came out April 5th on physical media. Return of the Living Dead is a classic, definitely. Funny enough, I'm going to be talking about something Return of the Living Dead related here soon. But this came out April 5th, and I had to get it on 4K. A lot of people were mad because... this is just a 4K and no Blu-ray. Usually there's combo packs. You know how if you buy a new 4K, you get the 4K and the Blu-ray disc. Same with Blu-ray, you get the Blu-ray and DVD combo pack. This only comes with the 4K. People were complaining about it. But of course I'm a sucker and I have to own it because I really like this movie, and that is the new Scream movie. This is a really good fifth installment. Now, I will say that this movie is not perfect. I think it does have its problems. But what they did with it was good. This is a good fifth installment. Having the legacy characters take a backseat and having the new characters obviously be up in front, and they did it just right. It was a perfect blend. It wasn't like, the new characters outshined the legacy characters, and it's not like, oh, they didn't use the legacy characters enough. It was just the perfect blend. And David Arquette in this movie as Dewey is fantastic. This is definitely his best performance as Dewey. Now, this is my third favorite in the franchise. I know some people absolutely hate this movie. Some people adore this movie. This is my third favorite in the franchise. I still think Scream 2 is better when it comes to the sequels. But this is the third best. It has its problems, but I do enjoy it. I'm ready for Scream 6. We are getting a Scream 6. That's really exciting. But I did enjoy this movie. This is a good fifth installment. And I do think Wes would have been proud of this. I say this, I've been saying this since before this movie came out. I was like, let's hope that this movie at least would make us as fans go, Wes Craven would have been proud of this. And I definitely think he would have been proud of this, which is why I am a fan of this movie and why I do recommend it. So definitely pick up Scream if you haven't. 2022, of course. Really good movie. Let's see. That's my favorite zombie movie. Return of the Living Dead's up there for me. That's definitely one of the best zombie movies ever made. Yeah, I like Return of the Living Dead. I haven't seen this, but they had a Scream event on Call of Duty around Halloween. It was amazing. Yeah, Ghostface and Leatherface, I believe, is in Call of Duty. Like skins or something. I'm not too familiar with how Call of Duty works, but I think Leatherface and Ghostface are in Call of Duty, which is really cool. Scream 6 may be better. I'm hoping it will be. I think it will. I think they were trying to play it safe with Scream 2022, trying to make it feel like the original, bringing it back to Stu's house, and I think they were just trying to be safe with it. I watched the featurette on there, and they were talking how the directors and just everyone involved wasn't trying to step on any toes and make people angry or anything. I think the next movie they're going to go out and show us how original they can be, because there's definitely things in this that are original, but at the same time that aren't original that we've seen before. So I'm hoping in Scream 6 they make it a little more original and they kind of go out and do their own thing, but still keep it Scream. I think that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I think Scream 6 will be better. I'm hoping, unless it flops, which I hope not. But yeah. So this next movie I seen one time, and it was this year, And it's from the same directors who did Scream 2022, Matt and Tyler. I'm not even going to say their last names because I can't remember half the time. But this movie's great. Don't get me wrong. And that's Ready or Not. This movie's great, but I do have to say, it's not one I'm going to watch a lot. I like how original this movie is. You know, the whole idea of basically you got to survive hide and seek. Like, they're trying to do a ritual on, what's her name? I can't even remember. Samara, I think's her name. Samara. They're trying to do a ritual on her. It's a hide and seek game. They find her, then if they kill her within a certain time, this family's not going to die. They're going to live. But if they don't kill her in a certain time, then this family's just going to die. And you kind of find out what happens at the end of this movie. I'm not going to say it in case people haven't seen it. I liked it. You know, this is original, and that's why I like it. Do I think this is perfect? No. There's like I don't know if it's me or if I got like a bad Blu-ray copy or something, but there's like a green tint to this movie, or at least this disc, that I'm not a fan of. I'm pretty sure it's the movie. I'm pretty sure it's not the disc. But there's like a green tint to this entire movie that honestly kind of bugs me. I don't know why. I just did not like the green tint in this movie. And personally, a lot of people probably won't agree with me. I think Scream 2022 is better than Ready or Not. That's just me. I'm predicting that Gale dies. Probably. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about the new Scream in case people haven't seen it. I do have a review for it on my channel, which is spoiler-free. But I'm not going to say who dies in the Scream 2022. But yeah, Gale might die in Scream 6. Who knows? I like Ready or Not. It was different. Definitely. It was original. It was different. And that's why I like it. I don't think it's the best thing ever. A lot of people hold that movie really high. And I mean, I can see why. It's a good movie. It's just... It's not better than Scream 2022, in my opinion. I think it's better than Scream 2022. Yeah, see, a lot of people would agree with you. I'm just not. No, I just don't. I like Scream 2022 better. This next movie is a Stephen King adaptation, talking about Stephen King once again. This movie came out in 1991, directed by Tom McLaughlin, who also did Friday the 13th Part 6, and that is Sometimes They Come Back. This is now one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. It 1990 is still my favorite, probably. You know, there's a lot of great ones like Carrie and Cujo and Christine. This is up there for me. Now, I really like Sometimes They Come Back. I seen this for the first time this year, which is unfortunate. I was late to the party again, but, you know, it's always good. It's better late than never. Like, at least I discovered this movie at some point. This movie took me by surprise. Like, the story's so good, the effects are so good, just everything about this is really, really good. And I feel like this is a Stephen King adaptation that's not talked about a lot. I know it has sequels. I have not seen those sequels. I might check them out, but this one, really, I just had such a good time with this movie. This is one I do highly recommend. If you're a Stephen King fan, if you like his books or his adaptations, watch Sometimes They Come Back. It will take you by surprise. It's a very, very good movie. All right, up next, we're getting into some Return of the Living Dead stuff. I know I saw that a little early on, obviously, with Young Truth, talking about Return of the Living Dead. Horror Man says, nice. I like Sometimes They Come Back. Yeah, definitely a good movie. Up next is a movie from, what year is this? 1988. And that is Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Now, this is a perfect horror sequel to me. You guys know how I feel about Halloween 2 and like Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I think those are perfect horror sequels. I feel the same way about Return of the Living Dead 2. This movie's so good. You know, it really is. It's such a good movie. You know, James Karen comes back, Tom Matthews. Of course, they're Joey and Ed in this one, not Bert and Freddie. But this is such... It took me a while to see this one. I saw the first one first, and then it took me a while to see the sequel. Actually, maybe not. I can't remember. But I know I seen this movie at some point, but it was recent, I think. Or maybe it was before. I don't know. I can't remember. I've seen so many horror movies I don't even remember. This one is so good, though. I do recommend Return of the Living Dead 2. It's kind of more of the first one, you know what I mean? Like, it's got the feel of the first movie. But the next one I'm going to talk about doesn't at all. And that's 1991's, right? 1992's Return of the Living Dead 3. This is a very good movie, very good sequel. This one is a different feel, and that's why I like this one more. It doesn't feel like the first two. You know, the first two are kind of campy, kind of like horror comedies. This is a very straightforward horror movie, and I love Return of the Living Dead 3. I really do. This is a really good movie. I believe this is the first movie that Christopher Nelson worked on as a special effects artist, also another great special effects artist, who, if you don't know, works on Halloween 2018 Kills, and he's going to be the effects artist on Ends, which is already done, but we haven't seen that yet. But he also did the effects for this movie. Very, very good stuff. Let's see. Awesome. I like that one better. Part 3. You like Part 3 better than... Oh, saying you like Part 2 better than Part 3? I like them both. I think they're very good movies. Okay, so these last 4. We're on the last 4. We're almost done here. We've been on for almost an hour and 20 minutes. But the last 4 are my most recent pickups. And this one actually just came in the mail yesterday. And this one is a Shudder exclusive. So if you guys have Shudder, you may have seen this movie. VHS 94. Now, you guys know... I believe I've talked about this on the channel before. I'm a huge fan of the VHS franchise. I love VHS 1. I love VHS 2. I hate Viral. VHS 94 was taking it back to the roots. You know, VHS 1 and 2 is found footage. Viral, to me, I think there was a little found footage in there, but it wasn't like a whole movie based on found footage like the first 2. And that's why I think Viral failed for me. This one goes back to those roots and becomes a found footage film again, a found footage horror movie. And that's why this movie worked. And if you haven't seen this and you have Shudder, go watch it after the stream because it's on there right now. You can watch it. I do recommend this Blu-ray. It looks really, really good. If you're a fan of the VHS franchise and you haven't checked this one out yet, do it. I highly recommend it. This one's really good. And as soon as I seen it on Shudder, I was like, I know I have to have this one in the collection. So, yeah. Just came in the mail yesterday. Part 1 is the best. The last 2 were trash. Part 3 was decent. Oh, yeah, you're talking about Return of the Living Dead 4 and 5. I always forget what they're called. I always forget what they're called. I haven't even seen those. The reason why I haven't seen those is because I heard they were trash, so that's why I haven't wasted my time on them. This next one is a steelbook. We were talking about steelbooks a little earlier on. This steelbook came out last Tuesday, I think. It's a Best Buy exclusive, and that is the Cabin in the Woods 4K Blu-ray combo pack. Now, if you guys follow me over on my Instagram and my Facebook, you've seen me post a picture of this. So I want to say this right now. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram or if you haven't liked my Facebook page, please do so because you guys kind of get exclusive stuff that I don't do on here. Like when I'm not active on here or if I pick something up, I usually post it on my social medias. So follow me on Instagram and Facebook. All that stuff is in the description down below. But yeah, I posted this as soon as I got it, and I got to say, this movie looks really good on 4K. This is a great horror comedy. This would be in my top 10. I know I did a top 5 video on my top 5 favorite horror comedy films. This would be in top 10. This one's really good, and this has Chris Hemsworth in it, which obviously he plays Thor. I think he did this before Thor. Wasn't the first Thor like 2014? Again, I'm not much of a Marvel guy. But I do recommend this steelbook if your Best Buy still have it. Actually, it's kind of expensive online. I was checking on eBay. I was like, I wonder how much this is going for. I wonder how much people are selling this for. And it's already going for a lot. So if you want to pick that up, I recommend going to your nearest Best Buy immediately. Yeah, Rave to the Grave and Necropolis. I think that's how you say that. Yeah, I have not seen those. This next movie is another horror comedy that is going to be kind of a new tradition of mine. I'm going to watch this movie every Thanksgiving, every Black Friday, which is the same night as Thanksgiving, I think, whatever. But this is going to be a yearly thing for me, and that is Black Friday with Bruce Campbell here. This movie was hilarious. It has Devon Sawa in it as well. This movie's hilarious, and it's not really horror. It's a horror comedy. It's kind of like Evil Dead-ish, which is kind of funny, and it's got Bruce Campbell in it. But I recommend this movie. It's really funny. I don't have a lot to say about it, though. Funny enough, I've only seen it a couple times. I just really like it. I recommend it. They get stuck in the supermarket on Black Friday. The customers are turning into zombies, pretty much. Alien zombie things, whatever. Pretty funny movie. Pretty funny movie. Okay, the last thing I have here is not a movie. It's a season of a TV show that I picked up, I believe, also last Tuesday, I think. Maybe 2 Tuesdays ago, something like that. Chucky Season 1. Now, I feel like this is going to spark a conversation. Chucky Season 1 is really good, and it's good on Blu-ray. It's not a perfect show. I still wish that Chucky would go back to the horror roots and be more scary again. This is kind of like your Cult of Chucky, because I think Cult of Chucky's better than Seed. You know, you get your one-liners, which you should. Chucky's always been that anyways. It's not the one-liners that bother me. But there's not really much of a horror aspect to this other than, of course, him killing people. I don't think this show's perfect, but I think it's better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought this show was going to be not good at all, and it turned out to be really good. Like, this is a strong show so far. I mean, we only have 1 season. Season 2's coming out this year. I believe they're in production for Season 2. They're filming it right now. But I do recommend this show. It's 8 episodes. It's like 6 hours altogether. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen this by now. It aired on USA and Sci-Fi. took me by surprise. I think it took a lot of Chucky fans by surprise. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. But yeah, those are my most recent pickups. Actually, I'm sure there's more that I have gotten recently that I forgot to show. But as far as I remember, that's all my recent pickups, and that is a lot of stuff there. That is a lot of stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of my recent pickups in the comment section down below or in the live chat. I am going to be wrapping up soon, so if you guys have any questions, definitely throw them in the live chat. Haha, spark the conversation with a hardcore Chucky fan in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll do another Chucky stream at some point. I actually thought about doing commentaries for every single episode of the first season, but then I was like, no, because that's copying Chucky Talks, that channel that Alex Vincent created or whatever. Christina's back. She didn't die. Well, there you go. Those of you who haven't seen the first season, Christina Elise is in the show. Something happens to her that I don't know how she survived, but she did survive. She's 100% going to be in season 2, which I'm excited for. I think it's going to be good, I think it's going to be good. But yeah, she's definitely coming back. That's exciting. So is Alex. Pretty much everybody's coming back that didn't die in season 1. And Brad Dourif is voicing Chucky again for season 2. So that's really, really exciting. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been a really long MMR Live. I think it's been a good 20th episode, an hour and 25 minutes. That's insane. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys think of my pickups in the comment section down below. If you guys are new to my channel and you're a horror fan, definitely hit that subscribe button. That would be much appreciated. We are on the road to 900, wanting to hit 1K this year. So if you're a horror fan and you've stuck around this long, which if you have, you're amazing, definitely leave a like and subscribe. I would definitely appreciate that. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next video.